The TV program, it helped me really get the feel for cameras, to work with my equipment, but also at the same time, it helped me understand what it takes to work in the TV industry. It's a place that I grew up, and now that I have a daughter myself, and I have a family to raise here in Northwest Arkansas, I want her to also grow up in a great place. I'm Jose Carranza, and I'm a portrait of a Springdale graduate.
For joining us for this episode of Springdale Today. I'm your host, Mary Jordan. Today's episode is all about the culinary arts, and we're recording today from Tyson School of Innovation's Culinary Arts class. Joining us today is culinary arts instructor Sherry Rickard, chef William Mauk, who is the chef and owner of Bienvenue in Springdale, and student Ian Elliott. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the restaurant, some of the amazing opportunities that it offers for Springdale, in addition to its French fare, as well as the opportunities it offers for our students. Thank you all for being here today. We sure do appreciate it. Sherry, what an exciting job to have as a culinary arts instructor. What brought you to Springdale? What can you tell us about your time with the district?
I'm finishing my third year here in Springdale at Tyson. Before I was here, they went up to level 2 culinary. Since then, we've added a third level, and that is where Ian is now. Before I came here, I was at another high school for 9 years where I started the food production program there.
And what do you bring as far as culinary experience to the district?
9 years at another school where I started the program. Additionally, I've coached 3 teams to competition that's led to some scholarships and first place for state in baking and pastry.
How fun is that? And then Chef, tell us a little bit about yourself. What led you to opening up a restaurant here in Springdale?
It had room, for the most part. I mean, I thought that I could put my restaurant anywhere, and it would attract people. And so when we looked at downtown, they were just now starting construction for a whole bunch of new things down there. So, there's a lot of saturation in Bentonville and somewhat Fayetteville, and so it just seemed to be kind of cool to be on kind of the ground floor in downtown and watch the renovations and revitalization of the area. So,
is this the first restaurant you've had an opportunity to open?
This is the first restaurant that I've had that where the money comes out of my bank account. And so I've opened, I've been in the business for 23 years now, and I've opened restaurants for other people. This is my first one for myself.
And what's the experience been like here in Springdale with that opening for you?
Humbling. I think that, I've spent half of my career telling other people what to do with their restaurants, and now it's mine, and so it's very. A lot of that ego goes away because you would think it would increase it, but it doesn't. It actually just rips it right from you because now you're on the hook for all the decisions and for the ultimate outcome of the restaurant.
Ian, in addition to being a culinary student, you're also a member of the restaurant staff.
I am, yes.
What can you share about a little bit about yourself and that experience for you?
Well, I'm pretty new to the area. I moved up here about 5 years ago from a little town on the Louisiana border. So I'm kind of accustomed to Louisiana French cooking, but it was a really big jumping from small culinary classes like this to an actual restaurant with chef. And it was scary, but it was something I've really come to enjoy.
Why? What is it about it that you do enjoy?
It feels like a real version of what I've always wanted to do, which is feed people and be in the industry of food.
And Chef, what can you tell us about the restaurant's name, Bienvenue, and how that kind of ties into what you're hoping people experience when they visit?
Oh, well, it means welcome. And so I think that's real simple in that, you know what I mean? When you name a restaurant Welcome, we try to do exactly that. And what I tried to do, and not just for the guests, but for the people that work for it too. You know, we try to make it as comfortable as possible working in that environment. I've spent a lot of times in kitchens, and they can be extreme. They can be a lot of them can be very hostile. A lot of them can be, you know, the way people speak to each other, the way people act towards each other, and I would just assume not deal with all that. You know, I found it so much easier to teach meek people how to cook than hotheads how to cool down. And so we try to make it as comfortable as possible to work there. The way our kitchen's designed, we tried to keep it looking like somebody's home inside the kitchen as much as possible. We don't have like your typical line. We work around this big table, and so everybody can kind of work together and see how we do things. And you know, we eat dinner as a team. We all come in at the same time. We all leave at the same time. We only have one shift, and so we try to make it to where we develop a relationship with each other, and it's very comfortable to be at work.
Are there any philosophies that you have as a chef that you really try to make sure that the individuals that you're training for a career really kind of carry forward for themselves?
A cooking philosophy we have is that every ingredient has the same culinary value. And so I think that's important because it makes sure that we are being mindful for all the ingredients, not just the ones that are expensive monetarily, you know, filet or lobster or whatever it is, but we want to make sure that stuff like a potato or a Brussels sprout or something like that, that is cooked correctly and that is taken care into the dish, you know. So that's important, and we kind of use that same philosophy for people as well, you know. Got a lot of potatoes, and and they deserve all the care and effort into making that great, just as well as any piece of meat or anything like that. So,
thank you for sharing that with us. And Sherry, what are you doing to sort of help students prepare for that professional experience in a working kitchen?
Well, in every level of culinary here at SOI, we have a learning goal of career development, career investigation. I do my best to connect them with people in the industry that students can learn from. And I think that Ian has met quite a few people since he's been in this class. We have guest speakers that come in, and we've taken some field trips to learn more about food science and some things that are outside of restaurant, because we're so much bigger than that. Our program starts with nutrition and food safety, and some people that may be as far as they go. They may want to be a dietitian. So I try to make that opportunity available for them to see different areas. We go to Tyson, all the way, get them exposed, and then get them connected if they have an interest in it.
We were out here earlier this morning, and kids were making cheese and cakes and such. Can you tell us a little bit about what a typical day might look like for a student in your classroom?
We are 90% hands-on in this class. There's a little bit of prep work, work plans and things like that they learn right off the bat. They learn about mise en place, but as they get out of the foundational and they've got their cooking methods and things like that, the class that you saw was an upper level, and Ian was actually in that class. Those kids are doing projects that are more self-led than than teacher-directed. Ian and his partners wanted to learn more about cheese making. I have some kids that are more interested in bakery. So the starting kids, Culinary 1, they are more traditional. They do have more book work. But by the time they get to where Ian and end of 2 and start of 3, they're getting to choose more about what they want to do. So right off the bat, they probably do have more book work, but by the end, there's very little of that left.
And then, Chef, how did you discover Ian, and what kind of work do you have him doing at the restaurant?
First, do you have a relation to Julian? He's part of your family, or just Lily?
Lily. Just Lily.
Okay, so Julian, another one of the students one of your students, he applied at the restaurant. And then he told his friends about it, and now I've got 3 of them. And Lily, she works in the front of the house. We don't have a spot for her in the back yet, but no, they applied, and we decided to take them on. And it's one of those things where I don't necessarily view any of the resumes as they're not really gonna wow any. You know what I mean? it's just one of those things. Is like you may as well, you know. I mean, you may as well have them come in and see if they like it, and if it works out, it works out. You know, we try not to put so much pressure on them to where it makes it to where they're not comfortable being in there. One thing, it is a job though, you know, and that is that I think that's probably the biggest transition is, you know, at school you supervise a lot, and when you're getting paid to do something, you actually go in there and work with it. Depending on what they do, a lot of things. I mean, we have a 100% scratch kitchen, so we have people that arrive at 9 o'clock in the morning and work all day, just get ready for night. And so by the time Ian or the other students get there, they pretty much just jump in and find out what we need and what we need done. I think one of the big things is they always go up there like, how can I help? What do I need to do? And so forth and so on. So it may be as simple as organizing the coolers and getting the product. I mean, we have products come in like every single day. And we have to, because we don't have a walk-in. We have a freezer and it's about this tall. So we have to prep a lot of things every day. So, and then when service starts, you work on garde-manger mostly, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of oyster shucking and plate building, and you make vinaigrettes and the dressings for them, right? Have you done any of the pastry?
Nothing too serious on pastry. I've built macarons and ganache tarts and pastries.
But you haven't got to
No.
pipe them yet.
No, not yet.
We'll work on that, I guess. And another thing is it's a lot of things. So everything has to come out perfect. I mean, it just does, or we have to do it again. So some of the tasks, you know, it depends on if we have time to allow a mess up. I'm not going to get angry about mistakes. We're just going to have to redo them. I'll only get angry if we don't have time to do something over. So what we try to do is make sure that if there is a possibility for a mistake to get made, make sure we have enough time on the clock to kind of take care of it.
Well, and Ian, how have you grown as a cook or a culinary artist?
It's really helped my view and made me see what it's actually like. And that's something that I was worried about whenever I started going in, is that what if I don't like it? This is something I've looked forward to for 2 or 3 years now, and what if I don't like it? But I did. I really do enjoy it. It's really helped me visualize what I want the final product to be like, and to see what it should be.
Sherry, about how many students participate in the program annually?
Well, in the 3 years I've been here, our program is limited on space, so we have 96 currently. That's about average. I have 2 advanced classes, and then I have 4 foundational classes.
Well, just think about, I think 96 kids, just think about the life skills too. Regardless of what they go on to do, they're learning genuine life skills here, which is pretty cool. All right, so we are recording today from Tyson School of Innovation, where we're talking to culinary instructor Sherry Rickard, Chef William Mauk, and student Ian Elliott about the culinary program and the restaurant Bienvenue and some of the opportunities that they present for our students. Chef, about how many Springdale students have you employed? Is it just the 3 at this point?
Yeah, we've only been open 18 months. So I don't know what's going to happen when they decide to graduate. And so I guess we'll play it by ear. It's a small kitchen. I mean, it really is. It's and so, yeah, we're kind of maxed out as far as right now. And I will probably look to bringing in another high school student once one of these guys leave or whatever they go off to go do.
And then what's your experience like? What have you discovered having these students on your staff?
Oh, it's fun. It keeps you. It's different. It's interesting. Like at first, you know, I really didn't expect a whole lot from these guys because I try to make sure that I keep it in mind that they are also students. So it's not just that they're young, because I don't think the age really has to matter. I mean, these kids in Europe are just crushing people, right? But also understanding that they also have other lives and they want to go deal with stuff. Like I used to, as a manager, used to get upset when, one of the kids we would have at the host station or something like that, they would leave for a week or 2 weeks to go on vacation, and they didn't really give us much notice. And then now as a parent, I really understand. It's like, I don't give a crap about your little job. You know what I mean? Like, you're going skiing with us because your mom and I said we're going skiing, And so I try to take that in consideration, that these guys, they have parents to answer to. They have school lives as well. And so I try not to grind them as too hard,
And is there anything about the experience that you found challenging or maybe surprising?
It's a lot in the kitchen at Bienvenue. It's a lot lighter than I would expect. I've seen the Bear, and I've seen all these cooking shows, and it's also tense, but it's really not in the kitchen of Bienvenue. It can be a lot lighter, and you can crack jokes sometimes. It's really just a fun experience.
I'm glad to hear that. And Sherry, how are you hoping that you're preparing students post-graduation?
I hope that I'm giving them skills that will benefit them personally, like in their own kitchens in the future, preparing food for their own children and families. But I hope that I'm giving them enough guidance to find what they're looking for, especially students like Ian, who came in and they were like ready. What am I going to do next with this? And he's looked at a lot of options and chosen what he wants to do. I hope that I have given them enough guidance and exposed them to enough that they have an idea of what they want to do. Do they really want to go into college? Do they want to go straight into an industry, or do they really find out that's not their thing? So I hope that I'm giving them that, I don't even know how to say it, give them the pathway to find that.
And have you found that the students have been pretty prepared, have a level of preparedness when they come into the kitchen, Chef Mauk?
Yeah, so at first, no, right? But I didn't really give it enough actual thought, because in reconsidering that, no, I was wrong. No, they are actually, the readiness isn't necessarily the task of what we're going to do, because I don't expect, you're not going to come in and know how to make a proper mousseline or a consommé or a cuisson blanc or anything like that. But they're coming in, they know that, get their apron on, get their station set up, put a cutting board down, hold the knife, and it's just very small little, like, okay, no, try it like this instead. And that is something that as looking back, I have had people coming in with just like blank stares, and that is very difficult. When you're like, this is a pot, we put a pot on a stove, and there's a lot to be said to already take over that. And I haven't seen that their skill set is much different than the students coming in from a culinary school. And the thing about culinary school, and this is, I don't know how popular of an opinion this is, but you can almost make the case of a lot of those becoming predatory, where they're trying to charge you $65,000 a year for a $15 an hour job. It just doesn't, that just seems absurd to me, and then still not coming out with the level of education that a restaurant will want anyway. So I think doing this on a high school level is so much better and so much more focused, and not straddling a kid with debt that he's not liable to climb out for several years.
Sherry, are there any certifications or degrees that students can earn or earn credit toward while they're going to school here?
We currently don't offer any kind of pathway to a degree. We're not connected in that situation yet, but they do have the opportunity to become ServSafe certified, and Springdale will pay for that for free. They can get their handler or they can get their manager if that's something that they choose to decide. We do support that.
Have you had your students go on to do some pretty cool things?
I have students who work in bakeries. I have one that is in culinary school. Ian, I think, is going to go into food science. Hospitality, we have a student here that's working as a sous chef with a hospitality group. Beyond that, we are still pretty fresh. We are 3 years in, or I am 3 years into a 6-year program. I think that we have a lot of opportunity there. We are always growing.
Ian, you're interested in going into food science following graduation?
I am.
What can you tell me about that?
Well, I did look at culinary schools because it's interesting to me. And I did realize that it is a $60,000 a year thing to get $15 an hour. So it just didn't. It just is. It didn't seem worth it. So I think being able to go get a food science degree and come out making more than that is a really good opportunity and will help me towards what I'm wanting to do.
Well, I'm excited for you. Chef Mauk, is there anything coming up with Bienvenue that you want to share that people can look forward to in the future as well?
We have a 42-seat restaurant and a very highly trained staff. So I'm always having to come up with something at Bienvenue to keep me entertained or not bored. So we do a lot of things. We have one interesting thing. We sell the most French wine of any other restaurant in any other restaurant in the state of Arkansas. So we have a lot of visitors from France that come over, a lot of winemakers and a lot of wine producers, a lot of people that have chateaus, and they come over. We do special dinners for them and with them, with guests. We're working on, we've got some fun things. I can't really talk about them right now, but I don't know. We change the menu every 6 weeks. We're always trying to do something and come up with different ways to express ourselves.
So stop by the restaurant, check it out, and you'll see what's new firsthand, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Share anything coming up with the program or any competitions coming up that you're excited about?
We've just finished the NASA competition. We placed 12th out of the nation, so we did pretty good.
That's awesome. Actually,
yeah.
like 250, right?
There was a lot of students. I don't know an exact number, but there were 57 teams. So I'm very proud of them. 12th is huge. We are at the end of the year, so we don't really have any more competitions coming up. We've got some field trips coming, and we might have another competition in class, but currently we're not looking to do any more outside of class this year.
Well, everything you guys have shared with us has been amazing today. Is there anything that you want to be sure to talk about that I haven't considered?
Hi.
Well, good. It means that I did my job then, right? Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Springdale Today. We're so grateful that you're here to join us, and we hope that you'll join us in the future as well so we can talk more about what's happening in Springdale Today.
Springdale Today is a production of the Springdale Public Schools Communications Office.
The podcast is hosted by Mary Jordan and is produced and edited by Micah DeLacy.
Be sure to subscribe to Springdale Today for free on your favorite podcast platform.
And don't forget to follow Springdale Today on social media for episode updates
and behind-the-scenes conversations.
Thank you for listening. We hope you will join us in the future as we continue to learn about the amazing stories happening in Springdale today.